You know, once when you start fucking saving money, yeah, you can't stop, bro. When I jog and I just see the money come in, bro, I have to save like 80%. The rest I just spend on travel. I love saving. It's an addiction. I love seeing money in the bank.
Being so financially stable that you forget it's payday. Bro, that is the kind of financial stability I pray for in Jesus' name.
Hey guys, back again. I wanted to look at some success stories, some information that might just be able to give you a little bit of push in the right direction, learn how to save, see how other people are doing it. What is actually a success story of financial stability? It is doable out there. You know, I hope and pray that we all can be financially stable one day and not have to look at our bank accounts. But here's some stuff that might give you some insight and might give you a little bit of food for thought. Stick around.
I almost wish that every single young adult in the UK could hear this message right now, especially those still living at home with their parents. So if you are, please listen to this message, because when you are living at home, you have so much freedom. You know, you've got so much disposable income at your hands because you're not paying much rent and your parents are letting you off with a lot of money. And this is obviously not for everyone, but there's a lot of the UK sitting at home, paying a little bit of rent to the parents and enjoying the rest of their money. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying your money. You're young, you should be able to experience a lot with your friends, family, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you have. You still should be able to enjoy them things, but you need to focus on saving and investing for your future, because the unfortunate reality of it is there's still 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds living paycheck to paycheck because they were never told about this, and they would never listen to anyone who ever told them about saving and investing. And don't get me wrong, that sounds so bleak, so boring to set up, but it's literally so simple. Set up a standing order every month. Your savings go into a high yield savings account. Set up an automatic payment to your investment account. Set it and forget it. These are the simple things that you need to do in order to get ahead of everyone who is still living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, this is good advice, especially for those people that are living at home. I wish I had a little bit more time with my parents to live at home, but unfortunately they got divorced, had to move out, all the rest of it. That's a long story, right? But being able to save you money with the luxury of being at home now is the financial hack, to be honest, if you want to speak about it bluntly. Living at home with your parents when they are doing all the things such as paying council tax, paying utilities, you know, paying their mortgage or rent or whatever it is, and you're able to utilize that. You need to leverage everything that you've got around you. And it was hard for me. It took a long time for me to become financially sort of literate and understand that money is something that you have to save and be so precious with. You can't just spend it. And to be honest, I still struggle with this today, you know, spending stuff on things that you shouldn't really be spending it on. You know, you have to like double down and have a look. And you know what this guy said was simple, but it's confusing to a lot of people, including myself in the beginning. What do you mean a high yield savings account? What do you mean an investment account? I don't know what these things mean, right? You need to go away and do your research and look at what that is. And you have to just do your homework, to be honest. It's as simple and as difficult as that, unfortunately. But yeah, great advice. Leverage what you've got.
What's the best finance advice you've ever got?
Save $20 a day. 20 a day times 365, 7,003. A year times 2 years, 14,006. 3 years, 21,009. 10 years, 73,000. Compound interest, 78 grand. Save 20 a day, and you always keep broke away. The reason why people don't have money is not how much money you get paid, it's how much money you save. I know people who work McDonald's minimum wage, and they make more money than people make $40 an hour because they understand where they at. So they save trying to get higher. And then the people who make more money, they spend more money and they get more habits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, good luck, good life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you gotta save money. Without saving money, you got nothing to invest. That makes sense?
Yeah. That was some good advice.
Yeah, I mean, saving 20 quid a day might be doable for some, might not be doable for some. The problem is, if you're already on a low income and you're scraping, that's where the difficulty lies. If you do have money left over at the end of the month, I mean, the thing is, you need to figure out what is your income and what is your expenses. As simple as you need to figure that out. once you write that down on a piece of paper, it's the same as looking at your weight. You need to know how much you weigh to know how much you're going to lose. It's the same thing. You need to know how much money's coming in and how much money's going out for you to be able to know how much you can save. And then if you can save 100 quid a month, that means you can put down 20 quid a week to put aside in an envelope, cash, hide it somewhere. You know, if you live at home, fine. If you live with family, hide it. Or simply, even easier, you got Monzo, Starling, you've got all these places that have those separate pots. You just set up a standing order to yourself, 20 quid a month. It goes out whenever you first get paid, 20 quid a week, sorry. First, you know, on a Monday or a Sunday night or whatever. It goes, you forget it even gets transferred. You just forget all about it. They have this really cool thing as well, which is that rounding up. So sometimes when you spend, it'll round up the last part of it and it'll put it in a different pot for you. So, you know, 50p here, 60p there, 70p there. The transactions eventually start adding up to, you know, actual money, which is really cool too. So we've got these different strategies now that we can use to save money aside and actually do better. It is sometimes just being very strict with yourself, right? You know, I need to save this money and I need to put it aside no matter what happens. And sometimes you need to sacrifice for that. But I think saving is the first part of becoming financially sort of sound and literate. And yeah, good advice. Execution is going to differ.
Just
Most
wish
people do.
someone had slapped me in the face with it at 18.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Honestly, I probably started at 28.
That's still earlier than most people, but it goes to the notion of, back to the advice for a young person, most young people don't have the discipline to invest any money they get their hands on, because a capitalist economy is the smartest people in the world with the most godlike technology are presenting you with amazing, irresistible offers to upgrade from economy to economy comfort, to add flourless chocolate cake to your order from Balthazar Boulangerie in 1 minute or less. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, wait, there's 3 other people looking at this room, this hotel room, and it's going on sale, and I better buy. It's so difficult to hold on to any money. You want to find ways of forced savings. A house is forced savings to a certain extent because people don't want to be evicted from their house. Going to work for a company and getting options and getting equity that grows tax deferred, that's sort of forced savings. But you want, as a young person, try and find as many ways as possible to have forced savings. An app that rounds up to the nearest dollar and then invests no matter what, that is forced savings.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's exactly just what I said. You know, try find the apps that round up. Again, we've got plenty of options now in this day and age for you to be able to save up. And, you know, now is the best time where you can be the most sort of financially literate. You know, in 2025, we've got the most sort of technology. We've got the most sort of things that are available for you to be able to just kind of stop, take stock of what's happening in front of you and be able to do it. You know, you can even take all that away, a simple piece of pen and paper to figure out and just start investing. I mean, there's another clip I think I've saved here, which is the Vanguard. But let me run that clip. You know, it'll be able to discuss it a little bit more eloquently than I can, and then we'll have a look. But yeah, you need to start investing. You need to start thinking about your future. It's boring and bleak, and to be honest, this video, you know, many of you will probably turn away by now because this stuff is not the stuff that is interesting or cool, but it is really, really important.
Just buy a Vanguard no load S&P 500 and hold it and don't ever sell it.
There you go. And the more money you have, just keep reinvesting and reinvest the dividends, and over time you'll do okay, which is really my whole 401k. You know what I'm saying?
It's sad to say, but like at the end of the day, unless you're a professional investor that's on it every second and like you just really know what you're doing, it's been proven. Even the most successful hedge fund managers can't beat the S&P over the long term. And especially when you're including the fees they charge, the commissions, the tax advantages of buying and holding and reinvesting dividends. So you're going to end up much, much better off. And it's been mathematically proven. You simply buy the S&P and just hold it for 30 years.
Yeah, this is something that Warren Buffett, one of the best investors of our time, has always gone on about. And he actually won a bet with a bunch of these hedge fund investors where he said that he's going to put money in the S&P 500, and the hedge fund managers have to beat that. And they didn't beat it. He won just simply by investing in the S&P 500. Now, if this is completely foreign and you don't even understand what I'm talking about here, or what this man's talking about, basically it's just an investment platform. Vanguard it's one of the cheapest and best in my opinion. It's something I use and I've started out using and I still use to this day. And basically the S&P 500 is I can't even remember what S&P stands for anymore, but it's the top 500 companies in America, and it's all their shares of their company that you can invest in. You're going to want to do some research. You're going to want to look into Vanguard. This stuff is really complicated when you first get into it. I mean, when I went onto the Vanguard website and first looked at it and tried to get into investing, I think I looked at the website for about 10, 20 minutes, an hour, and I ended up just turning it off, because when you are new to this, when nobody's ever spoke to you about investing, when nobody's told you to save your money or talk about finances, which in this country is tough, man, sometimes, you don't know what you're looking at a lot of the times. And when you don't know, you don't want to know. And so you just end up clicking off. I mean, like I said, many of you might have already clicked off this video because we're talking about investing and we're talking about saving, and that stuff is boring. It's not cool, it's not entertaining, it's not going to keep you on the video. However, it's really crucial and really important, and I want to keep hammering that home, because you want to be able to learn how to do these things. Now, there's various different ways to save with Vanguard. I'll see if I can find some links, put them in there, so you can at least start having an introduction and looking at that. But the way to financial freedom and financial stability is to start saving and investing, and it's as complex and as simple as that, to be honest.
There is a group of people that are quietly building generational wealth using their 9-to-5 corporate jobs. There is a group of people that are quietly building generational wealth using their 9-to-5 corporate jobs, and they're not talking about it. A lot of these people aren't on TikTok, they're not on social media, they're doing it on the low key, and I know these people. I am one of these people. These people are escaping poverty with their 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of these people are immigrants. A lot of these people weren't even born in the UK. I wasn't born in the UK. Bought my first property last year at the age of 26, and now I'm in the process of looking for my next investment. A lot of us are from low socioeconomic backgrounds. We do not come from privilege, and some of us even have parents that had to juggle 2 jobs to keep the family afloat and keep food on the table. And how are these people doing it? We're gaining high value skills, building our experience in the corporate world, going contracting, taking up jobs that are paying us 400, 500, 600 to 1,000 pounds plus. And because of how much you can take home, 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000 plus pounds per month, you can then invest that money in properties, you can invest it in assets, you can invest it in yourself, you can invest it in side hustles. And these side hustles and these assets are what's building the wealth. People are starting businesses, these people are buying commodities and things that are building up over time. I think in a few years, we're going to see the rise of these people becoming millionaires. And I know somebody that's already become a millionaire through their 9-to-5 job. Literally, the income that they gain from earning that much money, they put it into different assets, and now they are literally a millionaire. I'm not there yet. A lot of people are not there yet, but these people are on their way. And that's why I'm saying in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a flood of these millionaires.
What really is the crux, I don't know if she's selling something or what. I've not looked further on the channel, but you know, saying you work from 9 to 5 and then you go into contracting and you know you're earning 20k a month, 5k a month, £400 a day, whatever. You know, if I hear something like that, I'm like, and I don't know about this. I'm like, well, you know, it's nice I've watched this minute TikTok of this person saying that, but what does that actually mean? If I want to look at it, how can I get into it? So let me tell you, because I did a bit of contracting. I've been contracting for about 10 years or so. I'm not going to give you the full details just because of privacy concerns. Come on now. But the basic thing I want to give you is that you want to be able to get a job which can transfer into contracting if you ever wanted to go down that route. Personally, I think the best way to go about it is to get values in attain skills, to be honest. whether that's in finance, whether that's in software, whether that's in whatever it is. Look at the jobs that pay the most money around your area and reverse engineer them, and look at what you can get to build that sort of wealth. You know, skills, value, degrees, stuff like that, whatever there is, have a look at it and reverse engineer it and try to figure out what your timeline is for the next 5 years, how you can get to a high paying job if that is something that you want to do. If you're in a job that you don't want to be in and you want to pivot, you need to learn how to pivot. You need to learn, you know, these are all skills that you need to figure out. To go into contracting, you know, there's a whole load of issues that I've not got enough time to cover in a video like this. However, the main takeaway for me is that yes, you can become wealthy through just a simple 9-to-5 job, but you need to be able to have skills which are in high demand and for a job which gives you a lot of money. You know, unfortunately, you can be one of the most skilled teachers in the world, but if you just go teach at a school, you're not going to make that much money. You know, if you're a head teacher, fine, but you know, to go from simply just teaching English to be a head teacher is two completely different scenarios. So you want to have a look at what is the top and how you want to achieve that. That being said, if you had your success stories and, you know, you've got anything you want to share, pop it down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this. It's not as, you know, cool as the usual videos talking about all the crisis stuff, but I think this is really important too. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.